Good afternoon. Hi, Miss Rachel. Thank you so much for attending your session. And I see that you have brought your sister with you today. Miss Brandy, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. I'm so glad that you were able to join us today. Um, it is really imperative that we are able to add family support for those in recovery. And I just thank you for agreeing to join Miss Rachel's session today. So I know that you did have some concerns, Miss Rachel. Last time that we talked, is it okay if I talk freely in front of your sister?
Sure, yes.
Okay. So I know that last time that we had talked, you had had some concerns about, you're trying to do your aftercare for your recovery, and you had stated that your sister had a few concerns of her own. Would you like to tell me about those a little bit, Miss Rachel? How maybe you view them?
Yeah, we're kind of there's concerns of she don't understand that I have to go to meetings and I have to have a support group and that I can't just do it without that. She don't understand that I have to do these things.
Okay.
And
Okay. How's that make you feel?
it's causing. I mean, it makes me a little. I just wish she knew more about what I was going through and my situation. I feel like she would understand a little better. It's kind of causing a little bit of animosity and resentment. Um,
Appreciate you being open about that, Miss Rachel. Miss Brandy, would you like to give, your input on that? Like, how are you feeling about your sister being in recovery?
I mean, I'm glad she's getting help. I just don't understand why she has to do all those things, why she can't just come home and be fine, like why she couldn't just put the drugs down and just not do them, like whenever it was causing issues with the kids, the family relationships, the legal issues. I just don't understand why she couldn't just quit and why she has to continue to be away from the family and doing everything that is required of her.
Okay. Those are valid concerns. And like I was saying before, having the family support for somebody that might have a substance use disorder is extremely important. And I'm really happy that you are here as a support system for your sister, as a positive system for your sister. Maybe I can help a little bit. I just want to provide just a little bit of education. So it is difficult for people that didn't really understand the disease of addiction to understand why we might need to do all those things, right? And I know that Rachel, like before you knew the actual problem and the solution, before you started working on yourself and got to the point where you're at now, which I congratulate you on your time clean and you wanting to put forth the work and effort. It took a minute for you to understand it, right?
yes, it did.
Right. So, with us having our family as our support, it's really important, Miss Brandy, that you also understand. So there is something called a disease concept, right? For people with substance use disorder. It involves a mental obsession, a physical allergy, which sets off a phenomenon of craving and then sort of results in a well-known spree. So I just want to explain those just a little bit for you, okay? So a mental obsession is sort of like a thought that precedes all thoughts. Have you ever felt that you had a mental obsession with anything in your life? Maybe your phone or the TV,
Yeah.
maybe scratch offs, gambling, anything of that nature, where you just felt like you were compelled shopping.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that, where every other thought, it just sort of goes away. And all we can focus on, all that they can focus on is that one thing, right? So, but are you allergic to anything?
Who, me?
Yes, Miss Brandy, are you allergic to
Uh,
anything?
I mean, no, no.
Okay. Do you know anybody that's allergic to anything? Maybe like bees or penicillin?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that like whenever they have that allergic reaction, when that thing happens to them, they have an allergic reaction, correct? And you're able to actually see the results of that. Maybe their face will swell up, maybe they have a hard time breathing, maybe they break out.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to the disease concept, once that person puts that first substance in their body, they have sort of like a physical allergy to it, right? You can't really see it on the outside. It happens more on the inside. Whereas an average normal person would maybe take a couple of drinks and maybe stop because they felt a little tipsy, and they knew that they were gonna, if they drank too much more, they weren't gonna be able to get back to their room or something of that nature, right? So they'll put it down. When it comes to addiction, that physical allergy sets off and their body has to have more, right? So, as in where they do choose to take that substance, after they take that substance, what they're not choosing is that piece of that addiction, all right, where their body requires more. Okay. And then they get a phenomenon of craving where they have to have more. I need to get more. I need to find more. Right. And it'll result into that well-known spree, and I know that Rachel had shared with me this wasn't her first time in recovery. So you've probably seen that firsthand. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Brandy, you've probably seen that firsthand as well, right? Once Miss
Uh,
Rachel starts using substances after a period, like she just goes on that well-known spree, right?
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And that's sort of why when you were saying, I don't see why she's not able to just put it down. And does that sort of explain that a little bit to you? Why, whenever she puts that first substance in her body, she's not able to put it down?
Yes. And I guess just with me not having that problem, maybe I just don't understand. Not maybe I'm being closed-minded to it.
Well, that's one of the best ways for us to understand is through education, through education. And also, Miss Rachel, when it comes to Miss Brandy being your family member, we've caused them harm as well. So being able to come together in this setting and being able to talk about those feelings and trying to come up with some solutions for that. So for the family members, there is help out there, Miss Brandy. Have you ever reached out to anybody for help for Rachel's substance use disorder?
Yes.
Who'd you reach out to?
Well, I was reaching out to programs, trying to get her in programs before.
Okay. All right. And that's great. That is great support where you're helping Miss Rachel to try and find help. That's amazing. And I appreciate you doing that. Um, but I mean like real help for you. So there is help
Um,
out there for family members of those that have loved ones that have substance use disorder. Have you ever heard of that before?
no.
Okay. So, you know how Miss Rachel needs to go to her meetings where she's able, like, that's one of the reasons why Miss Rachel needs to go to her meetings is she's able to be around like-minded people who are able to relate to her, who have experienced some of the same things as her, that would be able to help provide her with experience, strength, and hope to be able to understand how they got through the barriers so that she's able to get through the barriers, right? So there is meetings for family members that do the same thing. It's called Al-Anon or Nar-Anon. Okay, that's for the family members of those that have either an alcohol use disorder for a substance use disorder, and the family members sort of are able to go and share their experiences with each other and be able to try and relate to each other, and also hear that experience, strength, and hope of how other family members have been able to cope with having a loved one that suffers from a substance use disorder. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I do know of a really good resource. There is an Al-Anon meeting on Monday nights at 6 p.m. at Safe Harbor. And I know that they would welcome you, so that you would be able to start to maybe gain some insight and maybe start that healing process. Is that something you would like to do?
Yes, because I want to rebuild, well, I want to build a relationship back with my sister because I love my sister and I don't want to have these feelings between us. I want to be able to, uh, connect the way that we used to connect.
Okay. And Miss Rachel, sometimes it does help for the family members to be able to come to the meetings with the person that has a substance use disorder to sort of see what it's like. Because of, again, whenever we're not educated about something, we don't really understand it. Would that be something that you might be willing to do if your sister was willing to go to a meeting with you?
Of course it would, yes.
Okay. And Miss Brandy, would that be something that you would like to do as well, as maybe go to a meeting with your sister to see how everything works there?
Yes, I'd be willing to give it a try.
Okay, great, great. So it sounds like we did come up with a solution today. Miss Brandy, you were able to get a little bit of education. So maybe would you guys like to set another appointment for maybe 2 weeks from now to a month? That way it gives you an opportunity to be able to go to some of those meetings, and we can come back and we can discuss how they went. Does that sound okay?
Yes,
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you again, Miss Rachel, for attending your session. And thank you again, Miss Brandy, for being a positive support that your sister needs right now. All
yes.
right.
Thank you
You,
for your help and trying to help us out. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. You guys have a good rest of your day. Okay.
you too.
You too. Bye.